Morning, Chair.
Morning, Chair.
Welcome
Chair.
back. Welcome back after such a very long recess.
Morning.
Yes. I want to welcome back you members after such a long recess. I hope you have been doing what you are supposed to do to mobilize people to go register in order to vote on 4 November. I want to welcome you all. Also welcome the colleagues from the Legal Services of Parliament. Also welcome the colleagues from the State Law Advisor, colleagues from the department that are in attendance, and also to welcome every other individual who's in the meeting. Before we start with our meeting and the secretary will fly the agenda for the day, let me provide some house rules. Remember, even though we are virtual, we are still within the precinct of Parliament. And then this is a meeting for members of Parliament to participate. Other people, you know, if you were in a physical meeting, you'll be sitting in the gallery listening, you cannot participate. In essence, it means that there's nothing that you are going to write in the chat. You just attend and observe the proceedings, those who are non-members of Parliament. So I should think this is the house rule I want to put. You just presume we're in the precincts of Parliament. You know you'll sit in the gallery and observe and participate. It's just to welcome our guests who might be in the platform who are not members of Parliament. So it means then, yeah, yours will be to observe the process as I've indicated, nothing else, no comments on the chat box. You do that, then we'll ask the Secretariat and the ICT to remove you from the meeting. So this is the house rule. And disruptions. Can I plead with people who are also in the meeting to continually mute their microphone because they won't be speaking? The only people who will speak in the meeting is those that I will say it's your opportunity to speak. That's the time when they will unmute their microphone and speak. Once they've done that, they will always know that they will have to still mute their microphones. Those are the house rules that I was trying to bring in as we welcome all of you to this meeting today. You are free to participate, those that will be participating, also those that will be observing that's a way of them participating, it's okay. The agenda is flighted by year. The agenda is as follows. We are going to open the meeting and welcome everyone. Then the attendance confirmation of members of the committee and apologies. And then we are going to attend to the matters of the bill, that is the clause by clause deliberation on the tobacco bill. And then by 13 hours, this meeting must be closing. So I want to get somebody who will move for the adoption of the agenda as it is, or if there are additions, it's time for colleagues to do that so that we can proceed.
Chairperson,
Yes, Honorable Sine.
I'm sorry, I'm using a different gadget. Good morning to you, honorable members, department, and everyone in the platform. Chair, I would like to move for the adoption of our agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sine. Honorable Riro, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I am happy to second that proposal. Thank you.
That is in order. Thank you so much, Honorable Ro. Does mean then the agenda it's supported. Having said that, then we come to the next item, that is the opening remarks by the chair. Colleagues, we are meeting today to commence with the clause-by-clause deliberation on the tobacco products and electronic delivery systems control bill. I should think we will all agree that this marks an important stage in the legislative process. As you are all aware that the committee has undertaken an extensive public participation process wherein we receive extensive written and oral submission from a wide range of stakeholders and members of the public. This included a substantial volume of written submissions, as well as inputs received during the public hearings conducted across all the 9 provinces. I then want to reflect that you will all know that and agree that those submissions on their own, they reflected a broad range of views on the bill. Various stakeholders raised issues relating to the regulation of the tobacco products and electronic delivery systems, the regulation of smoke-free environments, issues around advertising and promotion, product standards and packaging, enforcement penalties and emerging nicotine products, and the implementation and practical implication of various provisions.
Some coffee.
Sipesihle Gwambe, can you mute or you exit this meeting, please? I've emphasized that, and then I'll ask the team to be very firm. Kumutsoko Mape, can you mute your microphone, please? You'll be attending to it, ICT, if this is gonna be the trend, because it's just a bit disruptive. I was trying to say that the inputs that we got from the communities, they then provide valuable perspectives on the practical implications of this proposed legislation and highlight areas that may require further consideration or refinement. Therefore, colleagues, the purpose of our deliberation today is to examine the bill clause by clause, taking into account its provisions, the submission received, the responses and representations made by stakeholders, and the committee's legislative and constitutional responsibilities. It is therefore imperative that our deliberations should be guided by the need to ensure that the legislation is clear, coherent, enforceable, and capable of achieving its intended public health objectives, while also taking into considerations the rights and interests of the affected persons and sectors. Given the volume and diversity of the submission, it will therefore be important that the committee must then be able to distinguish between matters that require amendments to the wording of the bill, those that may be addressed through regulations or implementation measures, and broader policy concerns that may fall outside the scope of a particular clause. We should also then be able to ensure that our deliberations remain evidence-informed and that proposed amendments are carefully assessed in terms of their legal, policy, administrative, and practical implications. One would like to emphasize that the public participation process has provided the committee with the valuable information and perspectives. However, the committee is now required to exercise its own judgment in determining whether amendments are necessary and ultimately which provisions should be retained in the bill. Our task, colleague, therefore, is not simply to reproduce or adopt stakeholder recommendation, but to carefully consider the merits of the issues raised and determine the appropriate legislative response. And I want to emphasize this point also that to the members of the public, we have got diverse members of parliament with various expertise, and then also the beauty of our democracy that is matured is that we are a multi-party democracy. Therefore, and then whatever we do, there has to be some sort of a consensus reaching, also considering the views of the other members. Then also, colleagues, this bill has been before the committee for some time now, and its consideration has taken place within a broader and evolving public health environment. It is therefore important that we approach these deliberations constructively, systematically, and with a shared commitment to producing legislation that is responsive to the health needs of the population and capable of effective implementation. As we commence today, colleagues, I want to encourage you to engage rigorously with each clause. You'll have to interrogate the issues raised by the stakeholders and also ensure that any proposed amendments are properly motivated and clearly articulated. Our objective should be to conclude this process with a strengthened legislative framework that advances public health, a framework that provides appropriate protection from the harms associated with tobacco and related products, and a framework that is sufficiently clear and practical to be effectively implemented and enforced. With these remarks, colleagues, I want to welcome the legal advisors that is assigned to this bill, who is Sue Isaac, and the state law advisor is Soraya Williams. I want to welcome them here. And then the other issue that I want to say for today's session, we are going to also consider the preamble and deal with the definitions. I think with the time allocated, we'll be able to deal with that as we progress for today. That in relation to the object of the bill, one is of the view that we can then later deal with it once we've dealt with all the clauses, then we can come back to the object of the bill, because certain issues, these are the issues that the colleagues, as we're dealing with the motion of desirability, there were issues that colleagues were raising that we said we're gonna deal with them as we deal with clause by clause. Having said that, I just want to again welcome you back, colleagues, and then wish you well in your deliberations. Can we then move to the next item to confirm the attendance of members and apologies if there are any? Over to you, Secretariat.
Good morning and thank you, Chair. I've received apologies from Mr. Van Staden and Mr. Tybosh. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Those are the apologies that we have. Then you confirm that we do form a quorum by so doing. Secretariat?
Yes, Chair, we do form a quorum. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will then hand over to Sue to first read up the preamble for members' consideration. I believe members, you've got copies of the bill with you at your disposal, but it can also be flighted on the screen. And what I will do as it's happened, I'll give all the political parties to comment on the preamble, also the things that they feel need to be incorporated if they are omitting after the legal advisor has gone through it. Then I'll give each political party to comment on the preamble. Are you ready, legal advisor?
Thank you, Chairperson. As you indicated, my name is Sue Ann Isaac. I just want to confirm that the bill is visible to the members.
It is.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to turn off my camera for bandwidth. Chairperson, the first page of the bill, just for the record, I will just start there. So we have that on record, and I'll move over to the next part of the bill. So this is the Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill. It is B33 of 2022. I'm just going to increase the projection. So as Chairperson indicated, we will not deal with the long title at this stage. Once members have made proposed amendments and it is accepted, the long title will then be changed accordingly to reflect those amendments. Chairperson, starting with the preamble, it states as follows: acknowledge that tobacco use is injurious to the health of tobacco users and non-smokers exposed to tobacco product emissions and has caused widespread addiction, disease, and mortal harm in society, jeopardizes sustainable development goals and commitments due to tobacco-related health, economic, social, and environmental cost. Considering that the extent of the harm, effects of the use of tobacco products on users and persons exposed to tobacco smokes calls for strong action to deter people, especially children and youth, from using tobacco products, encourage existing users to quit, and protect non-smokers from tobacco smoke and exposure. Further, considering that nicotine is highly addictive and toxic substance that is especially harmful to children and youth, and evolving scientific evidence points to harmful effects of use and exposure to emissions of electronic nicotine delivery systems and related products, that there should be a precautionary approach to the regulations of electronic nicotine delivery systems and electronic non-nicotine delivery systems. Realizing that people need to be informed of the mortal threat of tobacco use and the highly addictive nature of nicotine. Realizing further that advertising, promotion, and sponsorships the use of tobacco products, electronic nicotine delivery systems, and electronic non-nicotine delivery systems with social prestige and aspirational lifestyles that are especially appealing to children and youth, and have been shown to encourage initiation of use of both products and increase tobacco consumption. Resolving to align the health system with the democratic values of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa in 1996 and the World Health Organization's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and to enhance and protect the fundamental rights of the society by enhancing and implementing effective measures to reduce the prevalence of tobacco use and nicotine dependence. Chairperson, that is the preamble.
Thank you so much, Ms. Isaac. Colleagues, can I see a show of hands of colleagues who want to engage on the preamble? I see Dr. Liru, Honorable Shirwa. In that order for now.
Chair, can you please include me? Ish? I'm under siege. I can't raise my hand. I'll try to look for it. Thank you.
That's fair enough. You are on my list. 2.
Can I go ahead, Chair?
Yes, yes.
Chair, so the one question I had, and I know that it's also in the long title that will probably be amended, but one of the things that we've mentioned throughout our discussions is that this bill does not seem to include nicotine products that are oral products, or the pouches that are there, and so I would like to propose that we put this in as part of not only, so we don't only talk about electronic nicotine delivery systems and non-nicotine delivery systems and tobacco, but we also speak about oral nicotine delivery, so that is part of this bill and is included in this definition.
Okay. It's noted.
And Chair, just one other question, just in terms of the nicotine, this thing saying, considering that nicotine is a highly addictive and toxic substance. Again, there has been significant debate about. There's no debate about the addictiveness of nicotine. And the question is that the toxicity is something that is significantly debated within the literature. And so I'm not sure if that is entirely accurate as a descriptor. And so I that was the other thing I thought might be worth taking out to prevent legal kind of contestation of this. But I think that I would like to see what the other members think about that. Thank you.
Okay, it's fine. You're subject to what the other members think about it. No, it's noted and it's recorded accordingly. Who's next?
It's myself, Salo. May I proceed?
Yes, Honorable Shiro.
Thank you so much. Greetings to yourself, Chairperson, and members of the committee and staff members and everybody who's present on the platform. We wanted to propose an insertion of a new clause in the preamble that goes as follows. Noting the detrimental impact of illicit tobacco and related products on public health and the need for effective measures to address such trade. We feel as the EFF that we need to be the bill has to be forthcoming with the fact of mentioning the issue of illicit trade in order to also empower other institutions from their end with implementation and enforcement. We don't agree that this bill should be quiet on speaking overtly on the impact of illicit tobacco trade. So if that can also be included in the preamble, that will assist, especially because even that part of illicit tobacco trade is closely tied to public health. So if we can just, I don't know if you got the quote, must I do it again so that you're able to capture it adequately?
Yes, just slowly.
Okay.
Repeat it slowly.
Open quote, noting the detrimental impact of illicit tobacco and related products on public health and the need for effective measures to address such trade, close quotes.
Can you also send that to the Secretariat?
I will. Thank you so much, Tlab.
Proper capturing. Nah. Thank you so much. I'll allow Dr. Litlap, followed by Honorable Clark Mutuvats, and then it's gonna be Honorable, there's Sungula as well. Then it will be Honorable Sine in that order.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question first in terms of how we're going to proceed. When you have something as long as this, should we take it section by section? Or do we read all of the preamble and then consider all the suggestions from top to bottom? Because
Yes,
it might be better if we went paragraph by paragraph.
yes. The understanding is that you'll deal with the entire preamble like what Honorable Shira did. So she just opted for an insertion. And then Dr. Liru also made some proposal, but subject to what you, the other colleagues are saying, then you will have at the end give him a chance also to say what is his issue. But let's deal with that. If there's a paragraph that you feel need to be revised, mention it, and then you say this is how you think it needs to be captured. That's what I'm giving you an opportunity in the whole preamble.
Okay, Chair.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'll go back starting with the first part. I see the font is getting smaller. Thank you. The first part talks about tobacco use is injurious to the health of tobacco users and non-smokers exposed to tobacco emissions and has caused widespread addiction, disease, and mortal harm in society. I suggest that we talk about it causes addiction. When we say widespread, we imply that it goes beyond those that are exposed and those that are using. So widespread would not be appropriate in this context because it would be a misrepresentation of how this works. And, you know, I don't know what mortal harm in society means. It is lethal to users. That's what we could say. But the mortal harm to society, it's just a broad statement that just creates panic in society. And the thing that we need to emphasize is its harmfulness to the users and the potential harm of secondary smoke. So the way we put it there, it becomes generalizable and creates almost like panic, like we have another form of COVID in our midst. That's the first thing. The second bullet point talks about jeopardizing sustainable development goals and commitments due to tobacco-related, economic, etc. It would be better to be specific because there are too many sustainable development goals. If we say SDG 3, SDG 4, let us be specific so that it's concise and informative to the reader. And it's focused on the areas where tobacco use is harmful. On the second paragraph, we talk about encourage existing users to quit. What about those that can quit? It would be irresponsible for a health bill to come up with what might be assumed a quit or die approach. Given the discussions that we've had when we were doing the desirability about differential products, it would be irresponsible not to be able to take the opportunity to say, to encourage existing users to quit or seek help for less harmful alternatives or seek help from healthcare professionals for those that can't quit. Maybe just put it at that so that it doesn't seem like this is a quit or die document, that it does responsibly That's why health services offer cessation clinics and cessation therapies. You can scroll down a bit. Thank you. Now, the next paragraph, I guess Dr. Leroux has addressed the issue of the toxic substance. But the issue I would want to suggest is that there should be a scientific approach to the regulation of electronic nicotine delivery system and electronic non-nicotine delivery systems, not a precautionary approach. Because a precautionary approach is one where we don't know what's going to happen, we have no information, and we're becoming too cautious to the extent that it becomes like a prohibitionary approach. So I would not put a precautionary approach as part of a legislative framework, because legislation has to be based on evidence and on science, and not on fear mongering. So I would strongly request that the precautionary approach be taken out of that language. And realizing the need that people need to be informed of the mortal threat of tobacco use and the highly addictive nature of nicotine. I would suggest, I agree with the fact that people need to be informed, but they need to be thoroughly educated about the challenges of nicotine dependence and nicotine use. Can scroll up. Okay. And on the issue of advertising, I think what we need to put here, that we need regulations and laws about advertising and promotion, particularly to youth, and the issue of celebrities and influencers being the ones that become the poster child for tobacco products. So we need to be fairly strong about that, but it should be about a need for those things to be kept. And I think the department should note that the issue of advertising and promotion, we don't need to wait for legislation to be able to regulate new products that come on the market. Because if we approach things in that manner, we endanger society. Because when a new product comes in, you want to go and pass a law before you regulate the product. That doesn't seem to be the way to go. Resolving to align the health system with the democratic values of the Republic of South Africa. I agree with that. To put that in the same sentence with FCTC, we are signatory, and I agree to that. But the key issue has to be that this is about the values of our constitution, to enhance and protect the fundamental rights of the society, not forgetting the rights of people who smoke. So we put it like people who are addicted to nicotine are not protected by the Constitution of the Republic. So it needs to be phrased such that we are true to the values of our Constitution, where every living being has rights. And for me, I'd leave it up to the lawyers to ensure that this does not seem to imply that people who smoke cease to be human and cease to have rights, even the right to care. Thank you, Chair. The issue that has been raised by the EFF about illicit product is a key one, because part of the tools that come from the FCTC, Empower, it's about ensuring that you impede cheap access to tobacco. Now, illicit trade becomes a danger of undermining all the things that you've done. Because if you do not put an eye on it, it undermines everything. Because you'll then have cigarettes of variable quality being available cheaply, randomly, everywhere. And even those that are from the lower socioeconomic strata would be able to afford those illicit cigarettes. So it is something that we should not forget about. Thank you, Chair.
Dr. Litlape, I'll also urge you to draft something on these issues that you were saying and you send to the secretariat. That will also assist the
Yes, yes,
advice and drafting. Sure.
yes, I will do that, Chair. And we
Okay.
should not forget that having had the discussions that we've had, part of the issues that we had when we discussed the issue of desirability was the recognition that not all products are the same. So that should find its way into the preamble, that there are different products with different levels of risk, and we need to have an evidence-based regulatory framework that recognizes that. If we are going to pursue public health objectives, we have to learn from countries that have recognized that are seeing the benefits of diseases related to smoking coming down and the rates of nicotine use coming down. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that's fair enough. Who's next?
I think it's me, Chair.
It's you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, there's also a couple of things that I would like to highlight. Obviously, a lot has been said about the illicit trade, and that is also very key to me. The lack of capacity and new provisions that require enforcement will drive illicit trade, like plain packaging, with zero enforcement as currently the case, will drive growth in counterfeit tobacco products, and there must be a clear provision in the bill to address illicit, which now represents almost 70% of combustible products. Then also in terms of, I agree 100% with Dr. Lehlapi in terms of people's rights. That is stipulated within the Constitution, and people have the right to smoke if they wanted to smoke, and they must be educated in terms of the risks in terms of smoking. Then also the differentiation with the single bill definition must be cleared and avoid conflating distinct products. The term smoke should not include in non-combustible products. Instead, specific definition of the use should be added for electronic delivery systems to distinguish between those that...
Sorry.
Sorry?
That will come into the next item on definition, eh? We're going to deal with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going
And
to
then
deal with
okay, so then I'll bring that in the definition.
Yes.
And of course, then also, as Dr. Leroux spoke about different products, I can recall that we discussed the issues and that in terms of emissions, and would that also come in the next one, where there's a need to differentiate between aerosol vapor and smoke, and aerosol definition must be included. And I think Dr. Leroux spoke about snuff pouches, etc., that we would need to include as well in terms of that. And that would also be within the definition of emissions.
Yes.
Because every product obviously has its own risks when it comes to these products that we discuss. So that's my input, that we need to really concentrate and ensure that the different risks in different products is taken into account. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. Is it Honorable Zungula coming?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to yourself, Chair, to the colleagues, to the legal team, and everyone on the platform. Chair, I know the long version will be dealt with after. I do have some inputs on the long version, but I'll go straight to the preamble. And I'll start by pushing that let's have a consistent definition which is aligned to what the Constitution says when it comes to the word youth. Whilst the intention would be preventing underage people from smoking or having access to tobacco products. But according to our legislation, when it comes to various issues, the word youth includes people up to the age of 35. So for consistency purposes and constitutionality, my proposal that each and every part that includes the word youth is actually removed, so that you don't have this bill being inconsistent when it comes to the definition of the youth in the South African context. The paragraph that starts with considering and then considering further, there's youth there, and then realizing further youth as well. So for those reasons, that is what I wanted to move. And then when it comes to, if you can go to the first considering, the second bullet point, it says encouraging existing users to quit. I would like to end, after the end, say there, and ensure users who do not quit are aware of less harmful alternatives. That way, yes, there must be people encouraged to quit, but if they can't quit for various reasons or it's difficult to quit, they must be aware of the less harmful products or less harmful alternatives. And then on the considering further that nicotine is a highly addictive, I propose that we remove "and toxic substance", because if we say it's a highly addictive substance, I think it gets the message across. And then the part that says exposure to emissions of electronic nicotine delivery systems, rather we remove the nicotine because some of the electronic delivery systems might not have nicotine. So if we say electronic, then it covers everything. It won't have a case whereby some of the electronic products will not be actually covered. And then on the same sentence, that there should be what we must rather do, that we must say there must be a science-based approach to the regulation of electronic delivery systems and electronic and non-electronic delivery systems. And then I've proposed that we add another aspect, in fact, two aspects or two paragraphs. The first is accepting that different products present different levels of risk, and that evidence-based regulatory frameworks which recognize these differences can advance public health objectives while ensuring appropriate controls. So that's the first. The second deals with the issues pertaining to illicit trade, where we say accepting that illicit tobacco products undermine tobacco control measures and present a measure public health risk. Ratification of the protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products is crucial to create a regulatory framework to combat illicit trade, to combat illicit tobacco trade. And then the last part I wanted to add, it is on the last resolving, where it has speaks about the consecution. It's going to be the sentence that says to enhance and protect fundamental rights of society by enacting and implementing comprehensive tobacco control measures. Because I think once it is comprehensive, then it deals with a more comprehensive approach, like we've been discussing all through around. Those were my submissions. You will advise, Chair, as to how we can then make these submissions to the legal team, because I can imagine it might be difficult to capture everything as we speak. Thank you.
Okay, it's noted. The next one should be Mutubati.
No, thanks very much, and greetings to all members of the committee and those who have joined us on the platform. I have a few things. My colleagues have taken much of the issues that I wanted to talk to on illicit and then also on the awareness on users. But I wanted to submit on the issue of, I wanted to submit on the precautionary and the science-based, just to emphasize, because this will also help our policymakers to regulate based on evidence. And I want to suggest that we insert the clause as follows, that accepting that different products present different levels of risks, and that evidence-based regulatory framework which recognizes these differences can advance public health objectives whilst ensuring appropriate controls. So, but I will submit, but I wanted to emphasize that it be framed in that manner. And also on the, let me just check my notes. Agreeing also on the youth as suggested, that we align to the constitution. I think that has also been covered around the youth. But lastly, on the resolving to align the health system, I think that's the last paragraph, resolving to align the health system with democratic values of the Constitution. When it goes further, I suggest where it says by enacting and implementing, I suggest that we remove effective and insert comprehensive tobacco control measures to reduce the prevalence of tobacco, so that we don't just deal with the effectiveness, but we take it comprehensively. So those will be the two issues that I wanted to add. My colleagues have taken much of the issues, and thanks very much, Chair, on the issues that have been inserted. No, thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mutubatse. Over to you, Honorable Sine.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, just like Honorable Mutubatse, most of the proposals that I'm going to make here, our colleagues have already mentioned. On considering, I fully agree with Honorable Zungula in terms of taking out the youth and leaving the statement as deter people, especially children, from using tobacco products. And also on the next one, which is encourage existing users to quit. And it should say ensure users who do not quit that are aware of less harmful alternatives. And then Chairperson, on the next one, considering further that nicotine is a highly addictive and toxic substance. Can we say that nicotine is highly addictive substance that is especially harmful to children, and evolving scientific evidence points to harmful effects of use and exposure to emissions of electronic. Then we take out the nicotine delivery system and related products. And also that there should be a science-based, meaning I'm also aligning myself with Dr. Letlape in terms of precautionary. It should say science-based approach to the regulation of electronic nicotine delivery systems and electronic non-nicotine delivery systems. Then Chair, the next one, which is accepting that different products present different levels of risk, and that evidence-based regulatory frameworks which recognize these differences can advance public health objectives while ensuring appropriate controls. And also accepting that illicit tobacco products undermine tobacco control measures. I think this one also was mentioned, I don't know by who, and present a major public health risk. Ratification of the protocol of eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products is crucial to create a regulatory framework to combat illicit trade. And Chair, without wasting any time, if we can also go to realizing further and remove the youth. And on the last one, which is resolving to align the health system with the democratic values of the Constitution of South Africa, and the WHO's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and to enhance and protect the fundamental rights of the society by enacting and implementing, if we can say, comprehensive tobacco control measure to reduce the prevalence of tobacco use and nicotine dependence. That's the proposal, Chairperson. I think we aligning. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, colleagues. I think those are the hands that have recognized. And then, as I've indicated, I will encourage you to submit these inputs in writing to the Secretariat so that the legal services will be able to craft in line with their recommendations. But what I'm picking up, I should think, based on what, with regard to the issue around children and youth, I think there's a consensus that we need to align ourselves with the issue, and I think we can deal with it in the definition of the child that the Constitution says it's means a person below the age of 18, so that the adults, they start there from 18 to 35. So I think we'll deal with that. I think there's one thing that I hear it coming across, that And then, yeah, the other issue that I've also picked up, I'm trying to summarize all your inputs, those of you who have spoken. With regard to the users, there's an indication that also we also to attend the issue around users who don't quit. So that, and also to caution them around the harmful alternatives that are there. That's one thing that I picked up. Coming to also what I picked up, most of you have said that there must be a clause that talk about illicit tobacco, and then some of you, I think, even propose how that should be crafted. That's why we are saying you need to bring it in there. And I've also heard all of you also indicating the issue around differentiation of the products. I think that's the summary of what I've been listening to, that to say these are the things that need to be included in the preamble. So I should think then just submit those things in writing so that when we reconvene, then at least we'll have something that is crafted that at the end of the day, all of us will then be able to say that it represents our inputs on the preamble. Khosi, Dr. Khosi Lihlape, did I omit something? Over to you.
No, you didn't omit anything, Chair. We omitted something that we should be able to state, as we discussed when we were doing the desirability, the issue of combustible versus non-combustibles. So it should be clearly, when we talk about the alternatives, we need to be able to clearly specify that combustibles are the most harmful way of getting your nicotine. The non-combustibles are differentially less harmful than the combustible. Thank you, Chair.
And I believe whatever you're proposing now will also be dealt with in the definition as we deal with that, because remember, yeah, so that's why I was trying to also indicate that. Honorable Mtovatse?
No, thanks, Chair. I'm covered. I heard you saying Kosi, and I was confused. So if you say Dr. Klape, that will be fine because it might confuse us with the teams.
I see. My apologies to that effect. Dr. Khosi Lihlape is Honorable Lihlape. Are we fine, Honorable Mtovatse?
Because members of that big team, you see.
Oh, I didn't realize you're referring it to oh, now it makes sense. But on that one, I don't think it's everyone who belongs there. But for another day, let's move to definition, because I don't agree with you on that one.
Thank you, Chair. Can I proceed?
Yes, you can proceed on definitions.
Chair, I'm going to read the whole list of definitions unless you direct otherwise.
Yes,
In this,
do that because I've already had members proposing. I think if I had my memory serve me right, Honorable Clark and Honorable Dr. Leroux, they were talking about the definition of aerosol, vapor. I heard them saying that, but we'll deal with that as and when we go through the alphabetical order. For now, just talk to the definitions that are there, and then the members will then come in if they want to enhance the definition, or if they want to put more definition as I've indicated, because definitely also the definition of the child must come to the picture. Oh, it's there already, I can see it. Proceed.
thank you. Definitions in this act, unless the context indicates otherwise, brand element includes the brand name, trademark, trade name, distinguishing guise, logo, graphic arrangement, design, slogan, symbol, motto, selling message, print, typeface, recognizable color or pattern or combination of colors, or any other symbol or product identification of a relevant product or a related product, or such feature that is likely to be taken as or confused with any relevant product or related product brand elements. The next definition, characterized flavor, means a clearly noticeable taste or smell other than one of tobacco or nicotine, resulting from a substance or ingredient or a combination of substances or ingredients, including but not limited to fruit, spice, herbs, alcohol, sweet, menthol, mint, chocolate or vanilla, and which is noticeable before or during the consumption of a relevant product or a related product. Child means a person below the age of 18. Commercial communication means a communication made in pursuit of direct or indirect furthering of a business or financial interest of an entity or individual between the manufacturer or importer of such product and the trade partners, business partners, employees, and shareholders of the manufacturer or importer, and includes communication through any audio, visual, or audio-visual means. B, business newspapers, trade magazines, pamphlets, leaflets, flyers, and letters. Or C, any other digital communication platforms, including the internet and mobile devices. Common area, A, means common property as defined by the Sectional Titles Act in respect of any property covered under the Act, and B, in respect of a multi-unit residence not covered by the Sectional Titles Act, means the land and such parts of the building or buildings on the premises that are not part of the private dwelling. Component, A, in respect of a tobacco product, whether or not sold separately from the product, includes such parts as the paper, filter, plug, wrap, and tube. B, in respect of an electronic nicotine delivery system, an electronic non-nicotine delivery system, whether or not sold separately from the system, is any part or element integral to the system and includes, but is not limited to, the cartridge, cartomizer, clearomizer, tank system, drip tip, mouthpiece, atomizer, internal power source, electronics, any software, and any nicotine-containing substance, and any other substance, whether containing nicotine or not, including any source of characterized flavor or other substance. And C, in respect of the tobacco device, whether or not sold separately from such device or is in any part or element integral to the device, such as the mouthpiece, fascia, battery pack, heat source, and any other part or element manufactured as a part of the device. Sorry. The next definition is composition. Means the content, arrangements, or combination of substances included in the processing and manufacture of the relevant product or a related product. Design feature means a characteristic of the design of a relevant product that has an immediate causal link with the testing and measuring of its contents and emissions. Electronic delivery system means an electronic device designed to produce an aerosol or vapor inhaled by the user, and any nicotine-containing substance or a non-nicotine or non-tobacco containing substance manufactured to be used with such a system. Electronic nicotine delivery system means an electronic device designed to produce an aerosol or vapor inhaled by the user, and any nicotine-containing substance other than tobacco product manufactured to be used with such a system, provided that this definition shall not apply to any nicotine device or nicotine substance regulated under the Medicines and Related Substance Act 1965, which is Act number 101 of 1965. Electronic nicotine device delivery system means an electronic device designed to produce an aerosol or vapor inhaled by the user, and a non-nicotine or non-tobacco containing substance manufactured to be used with such a system, provided that this definition shall not apply to any nicotine device or nicotine substance regulated under the Medicines and Related Substance Act 1965, Act number 101 of 1965. Emission means a substance that is produced with a relevant product or related product is used. Enclosed means any space covered by a roof or enclosed by one or more walls or sides, regardless of the type of material used for the roof, wall, or sides, and regardless of whether the structure is temporary or permanent. Ingredients in respect of a tobacco product means tobacco components and materials used to manufacture those components, additives, processing aids, and residual substances found in tobacco following agricultural practices, storage, processing, and substances that migrate from the packaging material into the tobacco product. And B, an electronic nicotine delivery system means nicotine and chemicals used in relation to creation of the aerosol or vapor produced when using the system, additives, and any other substances in the nicotine-containing substance or manufactured to be used with the system. Manufacturer means a company, including its holding company or any subsidiary and any subsidiary of its holding company. B, any subsidiary, an affiliate, or license of a company engaged in the manufacture, of a company engaged in the manufacture of tobacco products and other nicotine-contained products. Or C, an entity other than a company, which includes an entity that controls or is controlled by such manufacturer, or that is controlled by the same entity that controls such manufacturer. Minister means the minister responsible for health. Monitoring committee means the relevant product monitoring committee established in terms of Section 12. Multi-unit residence means land and a building or buildings containing A, 2 or more residential units available for lease in a multi-tenant building, or B, privately owned sections as contemplated in the Sectional Titles Act. The next definition, National Health Act, means the National Health Act 2003, Act number 61 of 2003. Nicotine means nicotine alkaloid, whether from plant extracts or synthetically produced. Packaging in respect of relevant and electronic non-nicotine delivery system products means A, any container which contains a relevant and electronic non-nicotine delivery system product. B, any additional layers of wrapping or containment of a relevant and electronic non-nicotine delivery system product, and C, any other material attached or included with a relevant and electronic non-nicotine delivery system product or a container or wrapper as contemplated in paragraph A or B. Prescribed means prescribed by regulations under this Act. Private dwelling means any part of A, any room or apartment of a building or structure which is occupied as a residence, or B, any building or structure or outdoor living area which is accessory to and used wholly or principally for residential purposes. Promote means any form of communication, advertisement, recommendation, or action with the aim, effect, or likely effect of increasing awareness, creating interest, generating sales, and creating brand loyalty of a relevant product or a related product, or the use of such product directly or indirectly, but excludes A, any commercial communication between a manufacturer or importer of such product and the trade partners, business partners, employees, and shareholders of the manufacturer or importer, and any communications required by law. Public conveyancing means an aircraft, ship, boat, train, bus, minibus, taxi, or other vehicle which is used for the transport, for profit or otherwise, of members of the public. Public place means any place accessible to the public or place for collective use, regardless of the ownership or right to access thereof, and includes a restaurant and hotel. Related products refers to an electronic non-nicotine delivery system, a pipe, a water pipe, rolling your own papers, or a similar item that is likely to promote the use of a relevant product. Relevant product refers to tobacco product, a tobacco device, an electronic nicotine delivery system, and includes any component, whether sold separately or not. Sectional Title Act means the Sectional Title Act 1986, Act number 95 of 1986. Smoke means inhaling, exhaling, holding, or otherwise being responsible for a relevant product or electronic non-nicotine delivery system producing any emission. Social media means a website or digital application where users are able to view, share, and generate content and find and connect with other users who have common interests. Sponsorship, in respect of a relevant product or a related product, means any form of contribution to any event, activity, or individual with the aim, effect, or likely effect of promoting that product or use of that product directly or indirectly. This Act includes any regulations made under this Act. Tobacco device means an item or system manufactured to enable consumption of tobacco product by producing an aerosol or vapor for inhalation by heating the tobacco without igniting it. Tobacco product means a product containing tobacco leaf that is intended for human consumption. Trademark. Trademark means a mark used or proposed to be used by a person in relation to goods or services for the purpose of distinguishing the goods or services in relation to which the mark is used or proposed to be used from the same kind of goods or services connected in the course of trade with any other person. And B, includes a certification trademark or collective trademark as contemplated in Section 42 and 43 of the Trademarks Act 1993, Act number 194 of 1993, and workplace means any premises place, or space in or on which one or more persons persons are employed or perform their work for work purposes, whether for compensation or voluntarily, and includes any corridor, lobby, stairwell, elevator, cafeteria, washroom, or other common area, and B, any pool, vehicle, or a vehicle used during or incidental to the course of employment or work. Chairperson, that is the definitions.
Thank you. Just get a cup of water, ne? After such a
Sure.
long session.
Thank you.
You deserve that. Okay. I want to see hands that wants to talk to these definitions. So far, I can see Honorable Sine. You'll be followed by Honorable Mutuwatse. Sorry. Then Zungula, in that order. And then Honorable Clark, remember you were proposing, you'll come after them as well. You were proposing some certain definitions. Can we start with you, Honorable Sine?
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me go straight to the point, Chair. On aerosol and vapor refers in this context, Chair, to the suspension of fine liquid droplets in a gas emitted from products intended for inhalation without combustion. Chair, the brand element includes the brand name, trademark, trade name, distinguish guys, logo, graphic arrangements, design, slogan, simple motto, selling message, print, typeface, recognizable color or pattern or combination of colors or any symbol of products identification of a relevant product or a related product or such feature that is likely to be taken as or confused with any relevant product or related product brand element. So characterizing a flavor means a defining taste or smell. Chair, meaning we deal away with clearly noticeable by defining taste or smell as reflected in the product packaging or labeling materials. And I propose that we deal away with other than one of tobacco or nicotine resulting from a substance or ingredient or a combination of substances or ingredients, including but not limited to fruit, spice, herbs, alcohol, sweet, menthol, mint, chocolate, or vanilla, and which is noticeable before or during the consumption of a relevant product or a related product. And Chair, characterizing flavor descriptors means words, text, images, or combination thereof used on consumer packaging and indicating characterizing flavor. And also, Chair, what we spoke about earlier in terms of the child means a person below the age of 18, according to the Constitution of South Africa. Chair, let me pause there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sine. I hope the team picked up what you were trying to say. The way I hear you, you are proposing that there has to be a definition of aerosol of vapor, and then you went on and on. If you can submit that to the team. Then also, if I heard you properly, you were just trying to say, instead of us writing characterized flavor, it's about characterizing flavor. Those are the two things that I pick up. So the issue of the child, was in line with that earlier recommendation of yours to say we'll then stick to the constitutional definition of a child. Somebody below, it means anyone below the age of 18 years. Okay. Honorable Mutubate?
No, thanks very much, Chairperson. I think we will come back to I think as I understand it, the arrangement of sections after the definitions will go back and align them in terms of how we've put them. I'll come back to that. I align with the definition as it has been put up with my colleagues around the aerosol and vapor, as it has been put. But my understanding is that from the input that came, the latest is that we then end with the product brand element and remove all those, which I would align with. But I want to take it forward on the combustion. I want to say that we need to add to say combustion means a high temperature chemical reaction in which a substance reacts rapidly with oxygen, resulting in the generation of smoke composed of gases, particulate matter, and other combustion byproducts. And combustible product means tobacco. Hello?
Are you defining combustion?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to insert what I would want to have in the act.
Okay. The purpose in line with what colleagues were raising, that we need to distinguish between
just distinguish
non-combustible.
between.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. And then combustible product that is combustion, and it will be then followed by combustible product, would mean a tobacco containing product or other product that is manufactured to be consumed in the process involving combustion. So I'm just dealing with those two, combustion and the product. So, but I'll submit that to the team. And further to that, I think under component, in respect of, we delete tobacco and then we insert combustible product, and then we continue with the sentence as it is. I'm fine with it. And then on B, in respect of electronic nicotine delivery system, we then delete an electronic non-nicotine delivery system. That would be the proposal. And further, as we go further with the sentence, where we say whether containing nicotine or not, including any source of characterized, I want to suggest that we say characterizing, flavoring, and other substances. And from there, the sentence that come below that start with in respect of tobacco device, whether or not sold separately. That whole sentence or that whole paragraph, the three sentences before combustion, I suggest that they be deleted. And then I want to further talk to, we then say disposable electronic delivery system is an electronic system which is not designed or intended to be reused and includes any electronic delivery system which is supplied pre-filled with nicotine containing or non-nicotine containing liquid, excluding cartridges separated from the device, or B, not refillable, or C, not rechargeable, or D, not refillable and not rechargeable. So those are the insertions that I want to suggest. And on the electronic delivery systems, the sentence after vapor inhaled by the user, we delete and by heating and tobacco containing or nicotine. That is the insertion containing a substance or non-nicotine. We delete or non-tobacco. Basically, I want us to replace the tobacco with non-nicotine containing the substance or product manufactured to be used with such a system. So those are the insertions. And then from there, after the act, the sentence that starts with electronic nicotine, that whole sentence, because that has been covered within the act, we need not do the repetition. I suggest that those two paragraphs be deleted. And on ingredients, on under B and electronic, I suggest that we delete nicotine. We remain with the delivery systems. And under the manufacturer, the meaning under C, I want us to insert the minimum retail price immediately after the manufacturer. We insert the minimum retail price refers to the lowest price at which a nicotine or tobacco products can legally and economically be sold once excise duty, VAT, manufacturing costs, distribution costs, and wholesale and retail margins are included. That's the insertion that I want us to put there. And then under nicotine, I suggest that we put non-combustible product, means the tobacco containing product or nicotine containing product or non-nicotine containing product manufactured to be consumed orally or with an electronic delivery system as appropriate in the process not involving combustion, provided that the definition shall not apply to any nicotine substance regulated under the Medicines and Related Substance Act 1965, Act number 10 of 1965. Under packaging, under point A, I want us to insert under A, any consumer container which contains a relevant and electronic non-nicotine product delivery system product. And then from there, under promote, means any form of communication, advertisement, recommendation, or action with the aim, effect, or likely effect of increasing consumer awareness. The word that I want us to insert is consumer, just to complete, to deal with the consumer awareness. And then under A, any commercial communication between the manufacturer or the importer, such as of such product, and trade partners, business partners, employees, and shareholders of the manufacturer or importer or retail. I suggest that we add the retail there. And then under related product, when it says refers to an electronic non-nicotine delivery system, I suggest that we delete an electronic non-nicotine delivery system. We remain with the sentence as it is.
Okay.
And under relevant product.
Honorable Mdubas, let me allow
Oh,
the
okay.
others, if there are other issues that you'll have to come just for the sake to also give others an opportunity. I'm timing.
Okay.
About 5
Okay.
minutes of you. I didn't want to stop you, but I'm timing. I've been putting
All
a
right.
time.
No,
Yes.
that's fine. What I'll do, Chair, I'll make my written submission
Yes.
to the
Yes.
secretary. All right. No, that's fine.
Yes. Honorable Zungula, you'll be followed by Dr. Liru, then Honorable Shirwa in that order. Honorable Zungula.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will also make my submissions, my written submissions, but there's one that I just thought in this platform, let me just emphasize on. It is the issue of smoking. Because currently the definition of smoking, it says inhaling, exhaling, holding, otherwise being responsible, blah, blah, blah. So that is what the definition is. So, sorry.
Are you smoking?
No, I'm fine, Chair. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's just this cold.
Yeah.
So I was going to say the holding or otherwise being responsible for and from a burning combustible product and a relevant product or electronic non-nicotine delivery system producing any emission must be removed. The smoking must just be kept at it means inhaling, exhaling the smoke from a combustible product. I think that alone, I think, should be enough as a definition of smoking. Otherwise, if we are going to be including smoking, if we're going to be including holding as a definition of smoking, it then means it will be impractical to police the act, because if you are holding a vape, you're holding a cigarette, by definition, you'd be found to be smoking. Then the other one is that on the tobacco product means a product containing tobacco leaf that is intended.
Before you proceed, as it is here, it's written at smoke. You want it to read smoking, is what you are saying, not smoke, ne? Because
Yeah,
the
smoke is fine, Chair. I was
Eh.
just making that we must remove the holding or otherwise being responsible for a relevant product or electronic non-nicotine delivery system producing any emission. My issue there, it is the holding or otherwise being responsible, because that is going to be a too broad definition, whereby even if you are just holding a cigarette, if it's defined, if that is defined as smoking, whereas you are not smoking, we know how smoking is. Smoking is it's the inhaling and exhaling, not the other parts of whereby you are just holding it or you are responsible for it.
I think I heard you. Instead, because even when you say smoke means healing is not so. This word smoke, you are saying it must read smoking, meaning inhaling, exhaling, and then, yeah, but not smoke. It must read smoking. That's how I'm hearing you saying it here.
Yes.
Instead of smoke, it must be smoking. Then it will mean inhaling, exhaling, and you remove the other stuff that you are saying here. I just wanted to hear you correctly.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes, that's all, Chair. Otherwise, the rest I'll send via the written format.
Okay. Honorable Shira, followed by Dr. Letape. That order.
Thank you, Sihlalo. I don't know if it has been covered as yet by the members, but we wanted to propose an addition of a definition on disposable electronic delivery system because it's not catered for in the bill. So perhaps the insertion or the inclusion of the definition can be to say the disposable electronic delivery system as an electronic system designed or intended for single use and not for reuse, including any electronic delivery system that A, is supplied pre-filled with nicotine containing or non-nicotine containing liquid other than cartridge supplied separately from the device, B, cannot be refilled, C, cannot be recharged, or D, cannot be refilled or recharged. I'll also send it to the secretary. We want to add this particular one on disposable electronic delivery system, particularly to strengthen the interventions on combating underage use of these single-use products, vapes, and if there is no definition for it, I think it will be difficult for the bill to adequately address the excess of single-use e-cigarettes and refillable devices. Obviously, with a distinction between adults and children or underage children, as the previous members have stated, that distinction is also important. But yes, we will also send it to the secretary.
Thank you, Honorable Chiro. Honorable Oletape, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Most of the things I wanted to say have been said, but I just wanted to put something to be considered. That as we go into the details, we may need to come back to the definitions because of the impact of the definitions as they are. And some of the things that have been put here go beyond the issue of the product itself. When you go into the definition of the enclosed space and about anything that has a wall, etc., we need to find out the impact it has on domestics. Because you have households that are private dwellings, but there are people that are employed in private dwellings. Do they now convert to workplaces where I live? So it means I work somewhere and I live in another workplace. That's for the person that I've employed at home, and the impact that has in terms of what we're trying to achieve. So for me, we just need to be mindful that as we get into the detail, we may need to come back to sharpen the definitions that have been provided because of the impact that it would have. I agree with what Honorable Zungula has said about smoke and smoking, because the issue of saying, if you're handling it, some people have the habit of having their partner hold their packet of cigarettes and they extract them from them. So would that person be considered to be smoking because they're holding a packet of cigarettes for the partner? That would be something that is undesirable. There's an issue where we talk about a monitoring committee. It's like inserting something that we don't know anything about. When we get to the relevant product monitoring committee, we may need to come back to the definition of what is the monitoring committee. Because if they are product monitoring committee, do they have the technical ability to monitor products or to regulate products? Or is it just a committee that sits and makes decisions based on paper reports that they receive? So there's a lot of things here that we may need to come back to once we get into the detail of where we're working about these things. So the thing of smoking and use, we just need to be clear about the distinction between use of something and smoking something. The other concern, Chair, is that we need to be able to differentiate what should be sitting in regulations. We're talking now about products that might be inhaled or that might be taken in orally. If somebody comes up with a product that can be used as a suppository, we need to come up with new legislation to cover that product. So we just need to be careful as to what sits in legislation, what sits in regulations. So where innovation can catch up with us, we are able to regulate the innovation without waiting for a change in legislation. As we have been paralyzed ourselves about not being able to regulate the plethora of technologies that have been made available in the non-combustible category. So, Chair, for me, it's just a caution and just help from the legal drafters in terms of how we're going to deal with those issues. Lastly, Chair, when you talk about increasing awareness, we need to be able to know that we're not stifling education. When you educate people about what is out there, are you increasing awareness? Would it then be something that is prohibited in terms of the definitions that we've created? So I'm just battling with how do we educate people? Because when you educate people, you are raising awareness on the issues that you're educating on. How do we make a differentiation on those issues? Because educating, is it promotion or you are enabling people to make informed decisions? So for me, we need to be careful in terms of this area, because then people that become educators can then be targeted as promoters. So we just need to be able to have clear definitions around these issues. So I'm just concerned where awareness becomes part of promotion, when awareness could be part of education. How do we make the distinction, and how do we ensure that we don't create a Stalin-type environment where communication of any form is prohibited? So, Chair, there'll be things that I will come back to as we get into the detail that will be impacted on by the definitions that we have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Letape. It's important also, as you propose, you also draft to assist the team, so that when we come back, you don't say, hey, I was misquoted. It's best you also, as and when you do that, you also draft as well. But that's the arrangement. Is there any other member that I've omitted that feels I didn't call them to deal with the issue?
You didn't call me, Chair.
Sorry, my apologies. I had said you're gonna come last. Sorry
And me
about.
after Mrs. Clark.
Is it Dr. Leroux? Dr.
Yes.
Leroux? It's you after Dr. Lihlape, and then it's gonna be Honorable Clark.
Thank you, Chair. And yeah, I think lots of the issues I wanted to raise have been raised already. I think there's one just definition that we need to look at, especially around workplace. At the moment, it talks about one or more people working, and that means that somebody working at home, their home is seen as a workplace. I think we just need to change that to 2 or more people. And I think that it would otherwise obviously be unenforceable. I think there have been mentions about smoke versus aerosols, and we need to clarify those definitions. And I think that we also need to put in a definition for non-tobacco products. So it's, pouches and non-inhaled products such as pouches and snuff, some of which are tobacco products and some of which are non-tobacco products. So I think that definition of nicotine products that are not inhaled needs to be included in the definitions as well. And we will put those wordings through to your secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leroux. Honorable Clark, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, obviously, these definitions will align to the greater discussion around the bill as well. So there will be more opportunities in terms of these definitions when it comes to the clause by clause discussion. So the definitions must be clear and avoid conflating distinct products. The term smoke should not include non-combustible products. Instead, specific definitions of use should be added for the electronic delivery systems to distinguish between those that emit aerosol or vapor and those that do not. Then emissions. There is a need to differentiate between aerosol and vape and smoke. An aerosol definition must be included. Refers to the context to the suspension of fine liquid droplets in a gas emitted from non-combustible products. There is a consensus that these products should remain prohibited in the public space. And then I just would like to speak about smoke. Smoke and aerosol are scientifically distinct. While smoke contains 7,000 chemicals, aerosols do not. And to smoke is defined strictly by the inhalation of smoke from combustion, thereby excluding oral products like snuff or nicotine pouches, which have zero secondary impact. Despite these differences, there should be a consensus that aerosol emitting products should be restricted in public spaces to prevent youth access. And Dr. Luru spoke about that. And then also he spoke about workplace, and I also just want to mention that workplace definition must be amended. If a person works alone at home, he must be permitted to use any nicotine product. The current definition overreaches and will be unenforceable. Then Chairperson, there's a whole lot of other issues that I would like to mention, but I think it's far better that I put it in writing and I'll send it to the Secretariat just to manage time properly. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll send in writing to the Secretariat. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Litlape, your hand is up again. So I'll give some of you, but majority of you said you are going to submit in writing. If there's something that you felt you omitted, I don't see any other hand, colleagues, those that want to come for the second round. If there's anything, you can still do that so that we have a clear understanding what is in your minds, and when you submit that in writing, is what we have captured in the meeting. That will assist us a long way. Dr. Litlape, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to raise something about something that is clearly not in the definitions. And having put in the preamble the Constitution of the Republic, what I find missing is where are the defined spaces where people can smoke? Because as a legislator, we legislate for everyone, even those who smoke. And we can't ignore the fact that we have 12 million plus smokers in the country. So what I find astonishing is that there's no definition of a regulated space where those that smoke can smoke without impacting on the majority who are not smoking. So it's just something that I found very, and we should not end up at the end being caught up with somebody taking us to court. We are legislators and we legislate for all citizens, the majority of whom thankfully do not smoke. But there's 12 million who smoke. Where are they covered in terms of definitions? So that there could be safe spaces for them, so that we protect those that choose not to smoke, like myself. But we should not ignore that we have people that smoke. So I'm concerned about the absence of any of those issues in the definitions.
And it's your duty to make sure that it gets in, Dr. Litlape. Because what I was trying to raise also is that The written submissions that you are going to be making is based on what you have said on the points that you are raising here in the meeting, so that we don't conflate issues. That's why now, those that have stopped while they were still talking, if they have got more points to add, is their opportunity now. Even yourself, if you want a definition of regulated spaces, like what the others have said, the others have been making aerosol, what is the meaning of aerosol? They said, what does it mean? You can also do that. And then I hear you that you want to talk about that. But I should think also when you're talking about, the regulated space, then you can sponsor that definition that comes through. Though the drafters have heard you that there has to be a need of a regulated space like that in the definition. Definitely, that's what we need to deal with that. Yes, we can't pass legislation that is contrary to the laws of this country, in particular the Constitution of the Republic. Whatever we do, we know that the Constitution is the supreme law of this country. And then that's why if you are talking about rights, the other people's rights must not infringe the rights of others. So these are some of the stuff that consideration has to be made, because if you do that, then we're going to have hurdles. As and when we pass this legislation, that's where you're going to have challenges on the constitutionality of this legislation. So these are some of the things that we need to deal with. Honorable Mutubadze, I stopped you while you were still talking because I realized you were taking so much time. Are you covered with all the points that you wanted? Then I'll come to all of you. I think, this is a chance for those whom I stopped at the time, so that I wanted to also give others a chance to speak. That's the things that we normally do. Is there anyone? I don't see any end. If I'm eating, you just shout. For now, I don't see any end. Am I audible, colleagues? Dr.
Yes,
Lita?
you are.
Okay, so this silence means that you have exhausted all the things that you wanted to say. Do I take it like that? With the view that those that have mentioned the definition, they will have to amplify that by writing and submitting it to the Secretariat. Have we exhausted this part of the definition? Can I get clarity? If we are fine. Dr. Litape, I'll ask you one by one. Are you fine with what you've submitted?
I'm okay with the submissions that have been made, but as I've stated, the chair, I will make a submission that will ensure that as lawmakers, we uphold the Constitution of the Republic, and we can't ignore the fact that we have, nearly 15% of our population that smokes.
Honorable Shirwa?
Thank you, Chair. I think we're adequately covered in this round. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable Mutubadze? Is he still in the meeting? Honorable Kumalo?
Chairperson, thank you very much. I'm very covered, Chairperson. I don't have anything to say. Thank you.
Honorable Shabangu?
Thank you, Chair. I'm covered. Thank you so much.
Honorable Liru?
Yes, Chair, I'm happy at this stage. Perhaps if you could give us some clarity about the process once those submissions have been made, whether we will then be going through those suggestions phrase by phrase and voting on them, or how that process will work. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Definitely, this is what we're going to do. Once they are done, we'll come back, but I should think we need to, because remember, the preamble and the definition are very critical to the work that we are going to do, starting from clause 2. So, and also to deal with the long title at the end. So what needs to do once you submit that, they are going to, because also remember, as we continue from section 2, the definition is there, then it means whatever we'll be doing from section 2 also should be aligned to the definitions. So that's why we'll have to come back again to say, then the drafting there, we leave it there, but at the end, then we can go clause by clause by clause. Then we do that until and then we'll come back at the end, then deal with everything to adopt. You know how it goes around. But for now, it's for the drafting team, because this is the baseline of what we are going to be doing. So that even when you deal, you see now in 2.1, you say no person may smoke, then you will be cross-referencing it against the definition above. So you still have chance, but that's what I was saying, to say for you to then record what you have been saying and submit to the secretariat. It will assist a great deal than to come back and say I was misrepresented. That's what we are trying to do, your colleagues. So under the circumstances, if there's none, any other thing that relates to the definition, that was the agenda for today, till we meet in the next meeting. So I could give you this time now to draft your submission and submit it to the secretariat so that you don't delay this process. Please. You have made proposals from the preamble and the definitions, though there's a recording, it's here, but it's incumbent upon you who have been making proposals that you submit such to the secretary so that they are able to incorporate them in the draft. Are we fine?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes, we
Chair.
are, Chair, and thank you.
Yes, Chairperson.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
So that concludes the business for the day. We don't have minutes. No. Do we have minutes, Secretary? No, that was
not today, Chair.
So I think the last item, it's my part to close the meeting. As I'm closing, I'm glad that everybody is a participant in this meeting. Like I've indicated, we are matured democracy. And then every view matters in this lawmaking processing, a law process. Then we will then have to go through the process of then going the definition by definition after they've redrafted it, so that we see that we are agreeing, we are not agreeing. But the way I was listening to colleagues here, you seem to have been complimenting each other. Then, we'll take it from there. So I want to, if we are to move in the spirit, we'll definitely at the end succeed in making sure that this bill become a reality, because we can't continue to live in uncertainty. And my emphasis, we are also regulating. Remember, the core business of Parliament is to make laws. And when you do that, you will be doing it in the public interest as well. Then we need to come with legislation that is clear, and then it doesn't infringe also on other people's rights. And then at the end, it must be implementable. So I think we are on the right track, colleagues. And I'm mindful of the fact that some of us might be carrying our political party's mandate, but I think we have successfully dealt with that in the past, wherein then there has to be some consensus. There will be instances wherein colleagues don't agree, but what we do normally, we move on persuading each other so that at the end of the day, we'll have something that is workable for all citizens of this country. I heard the majority of you referring to the Constitution time and again. So as and when we do that, we must always do that in the public interest. And when we do that, we must all take collective responsibility on this, because we all represent the various constituencies, and they are looking upon us as their public representative, that whatever we do here in Parliament, it's in their best interest. So I should think collectively, like we've dealt with the motion of desirability, we'll be able to, as we progress, if there are areas of differences, we'll be able to find each other as we progress, and then at the end of the day, the people of South Africa, the industry, everyone, they've been waiting for us for direction, and this law will be able to address all those issues that the people raised with us, that there has to be some clarity, and then the more we delay this, you leave a vacuum. The issues around illicit trade will continue if they are not regulated, and then I should think we shall at the end be able to come with something that will then be in the best interest of everyone, and then also putting public health to elevate it and give it the status this country deserves, because we are all concerned about the health of our people. And then that's why we are also, with this bill, we must be able to put some levels of accountability that will then ensure that this law then puts the public interest and the promoting of the health of our communities. Thank you, colleagues. We'll meet. You'll see the next notice when are we meeting. And then it's also dependent on you providing the secretariat with all your inputs so that we could be able to proceed to the next step. I must thank you for your time. And I know you are also doing this juggling amongst your constituency work. At least we are working and at the same time doing the constituency work. Till we meet again, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Then the next meeting as Begurusta, it will be communicated by the secretariat, and also depending on how far the legal team proceed on this matter. Thank you, colleagues. Enjoy your day further. The meeting is
Thank you,
adjourned.
Chair.
Thank you to everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.